Hi there, I am Dr. Carlyle with drcarlyle.com, and I want to bring you a video blog that pertains to my most recent blog about how we can use emotional intelligence to get on one page together. In a moment, I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how you can use emotional intelligence to accomplish that, and then I'm going to give you a scenario that I experienced with my wife just last week when we were on two different pages and how we're working on getting to one page together. In the blog, what I describe as one page is somehow two pages, two beliefs, two goals, two somethings that need to come together for some reason. And I describe them as a couple of circles. And there's three ways to try to get to one page. The first one would be if we have two circles and they're trying to come together, that we come together and we have a collision. There's actually no successful one page that is arrived at because there's no cooperation and there's no synergy. The other option that could take place is that one circle overpowers the other circle and assimilates it. So the distinctives of one person are lost because of the overpowering distinctives of another. That may be one page, but it's not a one page that benefits both parties and common ground isn't reached. So the scenario that I described, reaching one page, would be when two circles can come together and they can overlap with each other. And there's distinctives from each of them coming together in a common area in the middle that both of them have a common page together and both of them have distinctives that they're bringing. The reason emotional intelligence is involved in this is because emotional intelligence involves us discerning what's going on around us, and it also involves us honoring what's going on inside of us. So now stay tuned as I give you some practical tips about what to do, and then I'll actually give you a scenario that happened in my own life as my wife and I tried to reach for one page. Stay tuned. All right, so here's a couple of points to help you get on one page. The first thing, acknowledge differing realities and the attached emotions. Don't dismiss their emotions. Don't emphasize yours. Realize that both of you have emotions and you need to get to the bottom of those emotions before you can move on. You at least need to identify that they're there. Most conflict arises from emotions rather than from principles. That's really important. Real easy, but really important. Most conflict arises from emotions, not from the differing principles. Once the emotions have been expressed and at least identified, common principles can then be identified and differing principles can be negotiated more easily. Try to identify the difference between emotions and facts. When dealing with emotions, use feeling words. When dealing with facts, use information. If you use facts to counter emotions, you will likely be adding gas to an already flaming emotional fire and no synergy result, and you will not get on one page. Point number 2, validate differing contexts. Be curious about how their contributions are valid to the preceding situation. If they are a part of these converging circles that I described in the first place, they must have a good reason to be involved. Seek to discover the mutual contributions each party brings to the table. Be concise about your essential elements, the ones that you are less willing to do without. But also remember that flexibility is one essential element of getting to one page. Unwillingness to compromise will not result in synergy and you will not get on one page. So those are the two broad principles to consider when you get to one page. And now I'm going to share a scenario from my own life as I was considering and writing this blog, something that was going on in my marriage that was a compromise that we were trying to reach, and how I applied these principles in getting to one page. Okay, so here's how I have applied what I talk about getting to one page using emotional intelligence in my own life. And this is still going on. We're actually close to one page, but we're not quite on one page. When I was writing this blog, actually I was in the middle or kind of the tail end of a decision I was making, a business decision for our small business that had some risk associated with it. It had some financial ramifications that were a part of it. And I had become convinced that this was what we needed to do. So I had moved past all the gathering of facts, and I was in an emotional mode with it because I was ready to move forward. I also knew because of emotional intelligence and my wife's relationship, that she had not had the opportunity to gather those facts. And even in the gathering of those facts, she was much more diligent about gathering facts than I am. And she continues to gather facts and to analyze facts, to regather some facts and to reanalyze those facts before she ever makes a decision. And she did not have the benefit of any of that going forward. So when I came first to talk to her, I knew that I was moved past the facts, I was into emotions, but I needed to let her catch up. So I proceeded to give her the data that she needed, and I had to flex and let her ask the skeptical questions that she would ask. And that's her context, and that actually is what she brings from her circle or from her page. So if I would have just gone in like I usually go in, we would have had the collision that I described. And I can be quite forceful once I make up my mind, and I could have done that second scenario where I would have overwhelmed what I thought was the right thing to do and disregarded her analysis of facts and her preference for what to do. So instead, I took some time and I let her gather her facts, and she's actually still gathering those facts, and I was able to let her come so that our circles would start to overlap little by little. We would come to a decision that involved both of us, her distinctives and my distinctives, not just mine and not just hers. I would allow her to process her emotion about the decision, allow her to process her facts about the decision, as she was allowing me to do the same thing. So the jury is still out. We are still trying to blend our circles into a common circle with common ground in the middle. And I'll keep you posted on that. Maybe it'll come up on a blog sometime in the future. So in summary, just remember that when you're trying to get to one page, we need to consider the other person's emotions and the other person's data, the facts that they need to come to some sort of compromise in the middle. If you're not willing to compromise, then you're not going to get to one page. And that's how you can use emotional intelligence to realize the facts and the emotion of the situation. It come to some page that the two of you can come to together. So there you go. I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope that you will go out and live today a little more emotionally intelligent than you did yesterday. Take care.